Hi, I want to make a video about the what I consider the worst remakes ever made, and this list is just my opinion. And it really I've seen people talking about the fact that Sony's put out a box set of Ghostbusters, which is going to have the original Ghostbuster, the sequel, and Afterlife, but it's not going to have Paul Feig. He's whining about that. Um, and then I saw Christy Mayer. She did a video about it, about Paul Feig still whining about his movie, 2016 Ghostbusters. And she said, what would you consider the worst remakes of all time? So I said, okay. I went through and I said, well, these are ones I've seen that I know are terrible. So I'm just going to go through them and give you the movie, the year it came out, and a little bit of why this movie is bad. And so, yeah. And the first off is 13 Ghosts. Came out in 2001. It was a remake of William Castle's 13 Ghosts that came out. And William Castle was famous for doing gimmicks in movie theaters. When his movie came out, like the 3D for this movie, he had for the Tingler, he would have like their seats, they get electrical jolt, other gimmicks for his movies that he did that he put out in theaters. But this movie had no reason to, except for it was a studio wanting to make money off of a remake. And it stars Tony Shalhoub, Matthew Lillard. I think it's just really bad. It also has F. Murray Abraham. It's just a terrible movie. Shouldn't have been made. It actually go back and watch the original. Came out in 1960. It's worth watching. If you want to watch a really bad film and go, God, this thing's terrible, then watch that movie. The next I have the 2004 Alfie. I've seen the original with Michael Caine. There really was no need to remake this, but because Jude Law was somewhat hot, they figured they'd remake it. So, and it's terrible. For one thing, it's the movie where I think, if I remember right, it's the movie where he cheated on his wife, was his co-star. But yeah, that movie's just terrible. And then some reason, should be surprised by this, the Adventures in Babysitting. The original came out in the 80s, starred Christine Swanson. She also was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not the TV series. This one had no reason to be made except for they were trying to build off of something that was well made, funny, entertaining movie. Avoid at all costs. There's also the remake of April Fool's Day. Came out in 2008. It's just really... The story's terrible. The acting's atrocious. Go watch the original if you want to see a movie that's actually entertaining. Then there was the original Annie, the musical. So good, Jay-Z took part of for one of his songs. I'm not joking. And Jamie Foxx thought this was a great... Let's make an all-black remake of Annie. It was so bad. Nobody, even critics, could not sit there and sell this movie to people. It was terrible. And of course, Arthur. The original starred Dudley Moore. The remake came out in 2005. Why this was made? Oh, it's because Russell Brand. That's the only reason. Russell Brand. And then there's the 2005 Bad News Bears. Another reason why remake a classic movie. Oh my God, the original was Walter Matthau. Great movie, the original. No reason to remake it. It was just a cash grab, and it's not good. Of course, an abomination that. Oh God, why this was made, nobody can tell you because it's just god awful. The 2016 Ben-Hur. Ugh, they already once remade Ben-Hur, and that was the Charlton Heston one. Holy shit. Fucking stay away from this pile of shit. It'll make you go, wow. It's an abortion. And speaking of abortions, we have the remakes of Black Christmas. Both the 2005 and the 2018 are so fucking awful. They are shit. The original still is such a classic film. The way it was made, Bob Clark did such an amazing job. You never know who Billy is. That's what's great about it. It has cliches that you see a lot in horror movie, the first person's perspective. And I love by the end of the film, you never figure Billy gets away with what he did. And he taunts them. It has a great cast in it. Margaret Kidder's in it. I mean, it was filmed up in Canada. You could tell it was in Canada. And it's just a classic horror movie that a lot of films try to think they can be like. Hell, I consider this when you think of like every trope that's in slasher films nowadays, you could literally say this was the movie that started them. Because it really did. But the remakes are atrocious. Abortions should never have been made. God, there's no reason for them except for they were an attempt to make a movie. And trust me, I saw both these, and honestly, I wanted to drink bleach so I could forget these two movies. And the second one, the 2018 one, was a fucking, oh my God. If you want to have a reason to hate women, watch this movie. It treats women like shit and men are retarded. Kind of like the 2016 Ghostbuster. And then there was the remake, 2016 Cabin Fever. Why did they remake it? Oh, to make money. That's mostly why they do most of these shitty remakes, is to try to make money. Then there was the 2013 Carrie. Why would you want to mess with one of the greatest classics in horror movies? You had such a great cast. You had Sissy Spacek, who really was believable as this awkward girl that didn't understand what was going on, who is kind of an outsider, and Piper Laurie, God, she should have gotten an Oscar for that performance as Carrie's mother. Yeah, John Travolta before the whole closet, Nancy Allen's in it. I mean, the actor Kit Williams or something like, the guy who went on to do America's Greatest Hero, he's in it. I'd had also Spielberg's wife at the time was actually, his first wife was in the movie. Yeah, she's the one at the end when she goes to the grave, put down her arm gets grabbed. That's her. Great movie, worth seeing the original. Screw the remake. Another reason it only got made was because the girl who stars in it happened to also be in other movies where she really got started. Her start real big. Break was Hit Girl. That's about it. Movie's terrible. Avoid it. Clash of the Titans, the 2010 atrocious piece of shit. Liam Neeson, what were you thinking? Ray Fiennes, why did you do this fucking movie? I saw this crap in the theater and I hated it. Oh, it was me. Sam Worthington cannot fucking act. Yeah, I liked the fact that they made the one thing in the movie look kind of cool, and that was the Kraken. I do love the original Ray Harryhausen Kraken, but this one, there's just something about it. But the movie is just god awful. It also it has someone I think is kind of become a bit overrated. That's Mikkelsen. Oh my God. Mads, take a break. You don't have to do everything. Take a break from being in terrible movies. And I put these two together because they are trash. Dawn of the Dead, the remake, came out in 2004, and Day of the Dead, 2005, are both atrocious pieces of shit. I love the original Dawn of the Dead. George Romero has come out and said before he died, said that he hated the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and I agree with him on every count. It is a piece of fucking shit. Same with Day of the Dead. Here's the thing. Movies like Dawn of the Dead didn't reinvent the zombie. No, because Lucio Fulci, he had done the slow zombie with Zombie before he had to call it Zombie 2 because of Dario Argento releasing Dawn of the Dead in Europe as Zombie. Had done it with Nightmare City, where he actually had zombies that used weapons and everything. Way before the fast-moving zombie. But here's the thing. Why the slow-moving zombie is more terrifying than the fast? You forget they're there. Go look at every George Romero movie. You, like Night of the Living Dead. What's terrifying about that it's the fact that you could leave, and this is what I like about the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and I know why they made it, because George A. Romero forgot to copyright his original. So they had to remake it, and then they copyrighted that one. Trademarked, I mean. They trademarked it so that people couldn't just, to ensure that he got to protect it. And the remake was directed by Tom Savini of Night of the Living Dead. And it's great, because they did a couple things. They made Barbara, Barbara's different in the remake. And also there's a point where she says to Ben, we can just walk past them. Ben's like, no, the house, just like the mall in Dawn of the Dead, just like the military base in Day of the Dead, they are tombs. They are traps. They make you feel safe, but they're not. And as each of these movies progresses, you realize why they're not safe. Because the dead are always you forget they're there. Because they're slow, people get sloppy, and then they get attacked. And that was what was great about the original Dawn of the Dead. And then, you had it in Day of the Dead, where humans turn on each other, and the dead are not fast-moving, and it works. But these remakes are shit. They are terrible, and the music is crap in the movie, too. Of course, then we have the 2008 remake of The Eye. Why do Americans keep remaking Japanese horror movies? This one had Jessica Alba, and it made no sense to remake a Japanese horror movie that are about ghosts or curses and stuff. They just don't work as well as the original. With the exception of The Ring. The American version was actually as good as the Japanese film. Still not as good as the books, but still. Then we have, this was a remake of a French film called La Femme Nikita. Yes, that movie's amazing. Then came the American version. The Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda, Peter Fonda's daughter. Oh, God, was this movie terrible. It made, oh my God, Bridget Fonda cannot do action movies. And this movie was just terrible. Oh God, just, I wouldn't watch I can't watch anything with Luc Besson since the whole thing with The Professional and I didn't see The Professional. I saw Leon the Professional, which didn't have all the pedophile shit in it about Natalie Portman and everything. I never saw that version. I only saw the action one, which was Leon the Professional, and Natalie Portman's so awful even at 12 years old. I could not enjoy that movie, even with Gary Oldman, Jean Reno, and Danny Aiello. They're great in the movie. She ruins the movie. But this movie is just terrible and should never have been made. That's the problem with remakes. Like the remake of The Fog. Oh, John Carpenter made a classic in The Fog. Then comes, because the actor from Smallville. Let's remake The Fog and make it a terrible film. Oh God, it didn't have any of the intense, you know, any of that, of the fear in the fog or what was in the fog. It was just the remake had no reason to fucking exist. Kind of like every fucking remake of Freaky Friday. I remember the original, still a classic movie. The remakes are all trash. I'm not going to go much more into that. Then we have same director who did the original Funny Games, but there's something about the original over the remake. For one, the actor who plays the main villain in the original is so charismatic. He's entertaining and he carries this movie and and the problem with the remake, the actor they get, he's not a terrible actor, but he just doesn't have that charisma that was in the original. It's directed by the same director. And the remake has Tim Roth in it. It's okay. It just doesn't have the villain, two different actors playing the main villain, don't carry the movie the same way. The original actor, he's so charismatic, he makes you believe he's got such charisma. It's like when he winks at the camera, you're like, oh, he knows he's in a movie. When the other actor, it just felt like he was trying too hard. That's why I didn't like the remake of Funny Games. Not because of the director. Now, we get to something I've wanted to talk to you about for a while. And this is Halloween. The 2018 Fuck You, Danny McBride. I want to tell you why I say fuck Danny McBride. Because John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wrote Halloween and Halloween 2 at the same time. This was a complete story. The only reason John Carpenter didn't direct the part 2 was because he was off doing Escape from New York. If he wasn't doing that, he would have directed this. He handpicked the director, and the only one problem with that was the synthesized score instead of sticking to the original score from the first movie. But the whole point of this sequel, and this is why I say fuck Danny McBride, is he says, oh, that second movie doesn't exist. It was written at the same time as the first movie. It's a fucking complete story. And this is why Halloween 3, produced by both John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, had nothing to do with this. Because he was completing the story of why did Michael Myers break out of the mental hospital. To get to he found out he had another sister. He kills her one friend, played by PJ Souls, and her boyfriend because they're in Michael's home. No. They actually show up to the house Annie's at. That's right. They come in the house where he's killed Annie Brackett. And he kills the boyfriend, then he strangles, then he goes over to kill his sister. He's there to kill his sister. We don't know why he's stalking Laurie Strode till the sequel, and it completes it with the death of Loomis and Michael Myers in the basement of the hospital. Then Halloween 3 had nothing to do with the other, and it's a separate movie, its own thing. That's why it had nothing to do with the other two. You complete the story of the death of Myers and Loomis in the basement of that hospital. The explosion outright kills Loomis. There's no way he would have survived that explosion. And Michael Myers burned to death. He's not a supernatural being. He is a human being. And so you complete the story. But the problem was the reason you had the 4 and on was because the producer wasn't happy with what John Carpenter did. So he insisted they bring Michael back and bring in that Laurie had a daughter and all this stupid shit that made no sense. Understand that. And what Danny McBride did was say, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this. And he makes the same poor decisions as that fucking original producer. Leave it alone. He couldn't leave things alone. Then they come out the sequel, Halloween Kills, which is fucking dog shit, like its predecessor. It's what happens when idiots don't understand what John Carpenter's filmmaking, his style of filmmaking, and they put out an inferior product. And I know John Carpenter came on board only because he wanted to try to prevent, but he had no power to stop them from making this piece of shit. Now, I want to talk about the Rob Zombie Halloween, his films. He went the opposite direction. He wasn't trying to remake John Carpenter's Halloween. He even said this in an interview. He said he wanted to delve into the psychological side. What turned Michael Myers into a killer? What made him go out there and want to kill? So he delves into that. He gets a young actor to play young Michael Myers. He shows his home life. Michael's home life is shit. He's poor white trash. His mother's a stripper. His sister's a slutty bitch. His mother's boyfriend literally wants to sleep with his older sister, who is a slut, by the way. They don't even try to hide that. He gets bullied at school. He has a baby sister that he loves and adores. A mother he clearly loves, but we find out that he likes to torture, kill animals, because he's murdering his rats, and his mother keeps replacing them. The boyfriend knows something wrong, but he's an asshole too, because he's abusive towards Michael. And he's abusive towards his girlfriend. He's basically a freeloader who's living off of her while she goes and sells her body to take care of her family. And Rob Zombie gets Malcolm McDowell to play Loomis. And Tyler Mane plays the adult version of Michael Myers. And I'm going to say this, his take on Michael Myers is so good that I was like, wow. He does so much with that character without ever saying a word. And the way they aged the mask was actually a really creative thing to show with the Michael Myers, that from being a kid, when he first gets the mask from his sister's boyfriend, to when he comes back and puts it on and it's been aged like he is. Great. Another difference is, in the original Halloween, John Carpenter only took out 5 people. Rob Zombie, in the first bits of this movie, before we even get to the title, kills 4 people off. He kills the bully. He kills the boyfriend, his mother's boyfriend. He kills the sister's boyfriend. He kills off the sister. And then after the title in the psychiatric hospital, he kills the nurse with a fork, which makes his mother go and kill herself. And then his sister is adopted by the Strodes. Rob Zombie's movie is so different. He decides, I'm going to go for the kills on a level that John Carpenter wouldn't do. And he hired an actual actress to play Laurie Strode when she's a teenager. Yeah. Great job. And he brings in Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett, Daniel Harris as Annie Brackett. I mean, we're talking 2 legendary horror actors coming in. You've got Ken Foray, who's from Dawn of the Dead. He's the one he's the truck driver wearing he's as big. Ironically, Ken Foray is as big as Tyler Mane. And they were going at it. And it's like he's wearing basically... he steals the outfit. I mean, the amount of people he murders in this first movie is off the hook. But then we get to, by the end, it's, you realize, oh my God, this is what's psychotic about Rob Zombie's Halloween over John Carpenter's. Something that makes his movie more evil is what Michael does to the Strodes. He murders them. Outright just slaughters the Laurie Strode's adopted parents in their home. And then when he finds Andy Brackett, what does he do? Kills her boyfriend and then stabs her multiple times, but lets her live. John Carpenter didn't even do that to Annie Brackett in the original, but he lets her live. We'll get to why the sequel is, you know, so, yeah. And Malcolm McDowell and Stephen Dorff do such a great job playing Loomis and Brackett. You realize that this Loomis, just like the original, there is some similarities between the two in the first movie. They both tried to keep Michael locked up. They had no idea he was going to break out. And he realizes that there's no hope of saving Michael. Michael is evil beyond, like Loomis in the original. He comes too late to realize that you can't save Michael. And oh my God, the amount of people that die at that hospital in this first movie. Basically take both of the Halloween movies, take Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, put those amount of people that die in those three, still don't cover that first movie. And then the whole thing that, he wants her to kill him. And when she shoots him, you think, it's over. And then comes Halloween 2. Oh my God, that beginning of Halloween 2 is so brilliant. The hospital. Redoing the hospital, but in a more sadistic way. And it turns out it was just a horrible nightmare. And we find out that Loomis isn't, he's definitely different in the sequel than Donald Pleasance, because he's become a greedy asshole. Writes a book, basically, where he had promised in the original that that he and Brackett would never let Laurie find out that Michael is her brother. Here, he writes it in the book. And Michael, it turns out, survived. Holy shit, he couldn't be killed. Well, there's a reason for that, and that's where the psychological thing comes in. Is that he, in order to die, his sister has to be as fucked up crazy as he is. So now they have a psychic connection in the sequel. Another different change that I like is that in order for Laurie to be able to kill her brother, Michael to die, because that's the whole point to this sequel, is for her to become as insane as he is. That's the key to this whole sequel, and they're connected. And she gets the book, finds out that Michael's her brother. Loomis comes in right after. Oh my God! And when I said Michael lets Annie live, not in the sequel. He outright shows up, murders the sheriff, and then slaughters her. And she dies in the most horrible way. And then Loomis shows up. And it's like Brackett, lets him have it. Just fucking rips into him about the fact that he promised never to let Laurie find out about her brother or her family, and he betrayed that promise when he wrote the book. Laurie reads the book and finds out the truth. And there's two different endings to this. In one, she kills her brother, comes out in the mask, and they shoot her dead. Even though the sheriff said don't shoot her because they're afraid she's become her brother. So that kind of pokes fun at the whole thing with, what the Halloween, the one where where his niece touches him, then wears the mask, stabs her foster mother. Yeah. This one, she comes out wearing it, Laurie Strode does, and gets shot to death. And that's why the scene with the horse and everything makes more sense, that she's actually in purgatory. The other one, it ends with her in what looks like a white room, smiling. Well, it's because she's insane by the end of the movie and killed in whichever version you watch, director's cut or the theatrical version. And that's why I defend Rob Zombie's Halloween over the shit that Danny McBride did. That's enough of that. The Haunting. 1999. What the fuck was this? The remake. Still Robert Weiss's The Haunting. Great movie. Oh, I'm going to add another thing. The remake of West Side Story. Another movie Robert Weiss did that didn't need a remake. And fuck you, Spielberg. Didn't need to remake it. And then you don't put English subtitles because you don't want white. the English language. Fuck off. Nobody went and saw your movie. Yeah, The Haunting was a terrible waste of money and time. Then we have The Hitcher, 2007. Oh my god. I fucking hate this movie. I was young when I saw the original Hitcher with Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. And I absolutely love that movie. It's such a subtle, it's a really twisted horror movie, thriller. Sort of like, basically, you don't know much about Rutger Hauer. You don't actually see really any of his kills in the movie, but that's what's terrifying. You know nothing of this guy. And from the beginning, when he's picked up, there's something off about this. And he keeps telling C. Thomas Howell to kill him. And the most horrifying scene in the movie, in the original, is where he's abducted Jennifer Jason Leigh, who's a waitress in the movie, and ties her to her arms and her legs to a trailer and a tractor. If you know what that is, trailers where all the, when you see a truck, a semi-truck, the tractor is the front where you drive the vehicle, and the trailer is the back, where everything is. Yeah, and he ties her to it, and he threatens. He has his foot on the brake, and he tells him when he gets in the vehicle to shoot him. Says, if you don't shoot me, I'm going to take my foot off this brake, and she's going to be killed. And he slightly, to let him know he's serious, and then she screams. So it brings tension to the scene. You see her being, pulled in the air. And then he puts the brake back on. He says, if you shoot me, I'm going to let the foot off, my foot's going to come off this brake, and she's going to die. So no matter which way he goes, she dies. So he can't save her. So he goes, I can't do it. So all you hear her scream, and it fades to black. And it's this whole idea that he wants him to kill him. What a great movie. Acting is superb. You don't have to see it to know how terrifying and horrifying that is. But the remake does something fucked up. It replaces C. Thomas Howell with two people who are not entertaining at all in movies. They can't act. And replacing Rutger Hauer, Sean Bean. I like Sean Bean, but he sucked in this movie. Not really his fault. It's the shitty directing. And what they do, that same scene, they replace the woman with the guy. But instead of doing what was done in the original, they show you him getting killed, ripped in half. There was no reason to show it. It absolutely makes the movie crap. So yeah, don't waste your time on it. It's a piece of shit. Then of course the 2006 remake of House of Wax. This was the one with Paris Hilton. It's god awful. Yeah, avoid. If you want to laugh at a bad film, see it. Otherwise, it's a pile of shit. The Italian Job. The 2003. Love the original with Michael Caine. Didn't see a need to remake it. Oh, it's Mark Wahlberg. He's kind of Charlize Theron, who I think cannot act. Plus, I don't find her attractive since she dated Sean Penn. But that's... Yeah, it's not that good. It doesn't hold up as well as the original. Maybe it's because Michael Caine is such a tremendous British actor. Such charisma that he carries any movie he's in. Then there's the remake of It's Alive. What the fuck? I love the original. The remake did not need to exist. We come to another movie that almost made someone quit acting. More Rooney. This movie is a pile of shit. Unlike the original. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 2010. What made the original work was you get the backstory at one point in the movie where the reason they burned Freddy Krueger was because the police, during the process when they arrested Freddy Krueger, during the search warrant, they forgot to dot their T's And when he goes to court, the judge throws the case out because the police screwed up. In the remake, they don't even wait for the police to screw up, and they go from him being a child killer to him being a pedophile. I'm not joking. And so it was terrible. Robert Englund has such charisma playing Freddy Krueger that Jackie, the actor who replaces him, even though I did like the makeup effects, just cannot play. And the glove looked like shit to begin with. It was just a terrible movie. Had no reason to exist. And screw it. That movie was garbage. Then we have the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid. What the fuck is this? Jackie Chan, you fucking retard. Oh my god, you are no Mr. Miyagi. And Will Smith's kid is no Ralph Macchio. That Jaden Smith cannot act. This movie was fucking atrocious. Oh my god, it's awful beyond belief. Speaking of another abortion that had no reason to be made, was the remake of The Last House on the Left. Came out in 2009. Ugh. Well, the original has the just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. This movie's so awful, so terrible. The lead actress is so unlikable in this movie and so stupid that I have no fucking sympathy for her at all. She keeps saying stupid fucking things in the movie. The acting is atrocious. Oh my god, it's a pile of shit. I saw that in the theater and I just really, really hated this fucking movie. We got the remake of Magnificent Seven. I think that came out in 2016. What the fuck were they remaking that movie? They already remade Seven Samurai as the original Magnificent Seven. You could also say loosely that The Wild Bunch was a remake of Magnificent Seven. I mean, of Seven Samurai. But that Magnificent Seven was a remake of The Wild Bunch. Yeah. But the 2016 one, I think that's when it came out, did not need to exist. It's because Chris Pratt sort of became a big thing because of, Parks Rec, Guardians of the Galaxy. He was sort of the new hot thing. Yippee, piece of shit movie. Then we have the remake of Mother's Day 2010. Darren Bozeman, go fuck yourself. The original was sort of a low-budget horror movie about some crazy mother and her two retarded kids who basically do terrible things to some young, attractive women. Yeah, fun movie. Didn't take itself. It just was a good time. But the remake was just dog shit. Night of the Demons. Original is a classic. The remake was just why? There's no reason to make it. I watched it. It's not good. It's just it didn't need to exist. And then we have Spike Lee. You fucking retard. Why did you feel the need to fucking remake Old Boy? The original is such a classic movie. Your movie is such dog shit that honestly, it's such a piece of shit. It makes you appreciate the original so much more. Kind of like the fucking remake of The Omen, 2006. Liev Schreiber. Huh? That's the reason this one exists. Go watch the original. Such a classic movie. But the remake was just terrible. Then there's the 2007 remake of One Missed Call. The original directed by Takashi Miike It's on Shudder. You can go watch it now. Great movie. Don't waste your time on this piece of shit. The actress herself is terrible. She can't act. And she named her kid after her favorite college course, audio science. I kid you not. Then after that is the original Piranha. Came out in '74, I think it was, written by John Sayles. John Sayles is a writer and director who did, I think the last one, it was a David Bowie, I forget the name of the movie, but yeah, he wrote a lot of movies directly. This was one of them. And what's bad are every one of the remakes. They're shit. They're terrible. And then we have the 2015 remake of Point Break. Oh, I remember when this came out. There was not a positive thing people could say about that fucking movie. It looked like shit. One thing about Catherine Bigelow was she's done some good, decent movies. Point Break was one of them. You had Patrick Swayze. You had Keanu Reeves being Keanu Reeves. And you had Gary Busey before he lost his mind in a motorcycle accident. Holy shit. Should never have remade it. Then there's also the same year, Poltergeist, 2015. What the fuck? Why was, Sam Rockwell. Fuck off, this movie's shit. Oh, and then we get to the coup de grace of fucking reasons you don't remake fucking movies. We get to Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of Psycho. Not a joke. This literally was, and I'm not saying a joke. He simply shot-for-shot remake of the original Psycho. This movie was god awful. There's a reason you don't replace Janet Leigh with Anne Heche, who can't fucking act. I have no problem with Vince Vaughn. He's good in Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. But here, he fucking is no... He is not Norman Bates. But the movie's terrible. Then there's Quarantine 1 and 2, 2006 and 2011, both remake American versions of Record 1 and 2. Those are classics. These are dog shit movies that should never have been made. Speaking of dog shit, we got the 2012 Red Dawn. What the fuck? Oh my god, the original's such a classic. This piece of shit. Oh, it's because Chris Hemsworth was becoming a big thing because of Thor and everything. That's why you have this piece of shit. And then we have RoboCop, 2014. What was the reason? Oh, it's PG-13 on top of it. What a piece of fucking shit. Oh my god. Ugh. And then we had the TV remake of on Fox, 2016, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Original is about a transvestite. Sorry, transgenders are not transvestites. Sorry, idiot, you cut your dick off and wanted to be a fake woman. You cannot be a transvestite. Transvestites are men who wear women's clothing. Essentially, what you're telling people is you're still a man. That's funny. Then we have the 2009 remake of Stepfather. Piece of shit, didn't need to be made. Then there was the remake of Straw Dogs. I think that came out in 2011. Less I say about that. Sam Peckinpah's still the fantastic movie of Dustin Hoffman. Don't waste your time on this. I knew I was coming to this movie and I did not want to do it. But is Guy Ritchie's 2002 movie with the woman he marries, Madonna, called Swept Away. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. If there's a reason this bitch is not an actress, and she cannot sing, this movie was such an abortion. It basically almost stopped her from being able to ever get an Oscar. God, what a piece of shit movie. Yeah, it almost ruined Guy Ritchie's career. Yep. It actually hurt her. So this movie Swept Away was so bad. It was everything that you hate about Hollywood, that nobody wanted to do a movie with Madonna because of this movie. That's how bad Swept Away was. It actually prevented her from getting work. Oh, God. That movie was atrocious. Now, we come to another remake. 2003 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fuck this goddamn piece of shit. The original was a classic. It's based on the crimes of Ed Gein, the Sawyer family, as we find out in the sequel. All of them represent Ed Gein. Leatherface, as Gunnar Hansen said, is he based his performance on people, those in mental hospitals. Yeah, that's why he doesn't speak. He grunts, and he's essentially retarded. But the remake just said, "Fuck that. Let's make it gory and stupid." The 2002 Time Machine. Didn't need to remake it. Did not need to be remade. The original H.G. Wells Time Machine is a classic. Go watch that. Do not waste your time on this Guy Pearce piece of shit. Then there's another one. Why did they remake it? When a Stranger Calls Back. In 2006 is a piece of fucking stupid shit. It was so dumb. The acting is atrocious. The movie is just so idiotic. Unlike the original, which dealt with a babysitter getting some weird calls from a guy, "Have you checked on the babysitter?" Carol Kane stars in it. Yeah, and then, the killer gets caught. He's locked up. He gets out. She's being, and then, of course, he's coming, back after her. She learns to defend herself. Yeah, this one had none of that. That's why it wasn't it might have just been called When a Stranger Calls. It is a remake of When a Stranger Calls Back. But it's basically, let's take the first part of When a Stranger Calls and make that essentially the whole fucking movie. It's terrible. It's not worth it. Yeah. And I did this because I was watching a video where Christy Mayer talked about the Paul Feig crying about his movie not being included in the box set of the Ghostbuster trilogy that's coming out on 4K. His movie was terrible. It's a terrible remake. It wasn't in the same universe. That's why it's not included in the box set coming out. Also, the trailer, when it came out, made the movie... People hated the trailer, so it turned people off of his movie. And Bill Murray, as much as he likes to bring him up, trashed that movie and said it was terrible. He hated doing the movie. He didn't want anything. He would not even talk positive about the 2016 Ghostbuster, and it wasn't funny. It's a terrible film. The trailer told you it was an awful film. But there were people but it lost the studio over $144 million. This is why even Amy Pascal, who was one of the reasons that movie got greenlit, won't even talk about it. And why she was all for Jason Reitman's. And as Dan Aykroyd said, the movie cost too much. They gave Paul Feig a blank check to make the movie. He moved it to Boston. He didn't even care to make it fit in the original timeline universe. And he treated it was just a terrible movie. Had none of what the original first two and even Afterlife has, which is that whole, heart and soul of it. So yeah, that's why I did this list. I didn't go through every remake. There's some terrible remakes. I have never seen, like Child's Play. I didn't see the remake. I've heard people talk about it. I saw no need to see it. And that's because Brad Dourif was basically the heart and soul. He brought soul to Chucky. Unlike Mark Hamill just being sounding robotic as Chucky and making it an AI instead of having an actual soul inside is what ruined that remake. So yeah. Hollywood, stop fucking remaking movies, you fucking retards. Leave things alone. Yeah, but that's essentially, and I wrote this stuff down. I went off of Wikipedia. Doesn't have every movie, but like I said, I'm not going to trash. Another movie I'm not going to trash that I actually liked was the remake of Bangkok Dangerously, directed by the same people who made the original. And I know people made fun of Nicolas Cage's hairpiece in the movie, but he's an entertaining actor, just like Mel Gibson. Oh, I forgot another one was, and here's the last one. Oh, Mad Max Fury fucking Road is not a Mad Max film. It's supposed to. Oh, it's essentially a remake of the original Mad Max. No, it does not fit in the original. So it's clearly they're remaking the whole goddamn thing with this fucking feminist dog shit. That's why I'm going to say it's a fucking shitty remake of the original, and even Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome. Those were the trilogy, the Mad Max trilogy. This movie is a fucking shitty remake of those, and George Miller can go fuck himself, because Mel Gibson can still fucking do action films. So fuck off, George Miller, and have a nice day.